Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time again. It is your favorite time of the week. It is time for Panel to Panel, your show about comics and everything pertaining to. I'm Spin Dash, and with me, as always, is my two best friends, the Space Chief.
Hey, everybody.
Jules.
Hi.
And tonight we do have a guest with us tonight. We have Nightwing. Nightwing is here with us tonight, all the way from Chicago, where he's fighting the prankster. Actually, Chris Williams.
Just stone's throw away from me.
Chris, thank you for being with us tonight on Panel to Panel.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And love the Watchmen behind you. Love the Watchmen.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool. I was going to say, man, that's a cool poster.
So let's take a look. Behind me, I've got Sonic and Sheldon. Hey, Sheldon. Behind the Chief, we got Finn. Oh, he's got, hey, Finn. And Jake and all the cool stuff.
Like an old 40s Magic Kid.
Old 40s Magic Kid. Jules has Oswald the Lucky Rabbit behind her. And now we got the Watchmen. These are called fanboy caves, ladies and gentlemen. Fanboy caves. This is what we got.
Pretty much.
Darn right. So, this last week, we started off the Trinity War. We got the prelude to the Trinity War, Pandora, Trinity of Sin. And I have to say, I think this is going to be a major changing point. If you read Pandora, this is going to be a major changing point within the DC universe. If you couldn't have read a DC book over the last couple months without seeing the full page spread of the Trinity War, with the JLA, the JLD, and the Justice League fighting against each other, Pandora in the middle, and then you got the Phantom Stranger in one corner and the Question in the other. So this is going to be a big event encompassing the DC universe. So tonight we're going to take a look at those events that have made so much impact on the DC universe over the years. Those things that have just changed the DC universe more than anything that have had major ramifications. So I think we need to start off with one that we talk about quite a bit. We have hashtagged it. We have Chief has ranted about it. I think we should start off with Crisis of Infinite Earths, because when people think of events that changed the world of a comic industry, Crisis is one of those ones that immediately come to mind. So let's go ahead and talk about Crisis. Let's talk about how big of an impact that was on the DC universe.
Well, that totally flipped it over, man. It kind of rewrote it. You had all the timelines of all the different of the multiverse converging all at once, and you had like guys like Uncle Sam and some of the old Justice Society guys that like time was, they're all kind of eating, and I don't know, and you also had the death of Barry Allen. You had the death of Supergirl in that.
Yeah,
that was major DC changing stuff.
I mean, you think about it, up until that point, DC had it to where they had all these different multiverses so they could tell different stories. They didn't have to keep it within just one planet. Superman could be doing this at this time, but then in the next book, because it's a different Superman on a different planet, different dimension, he can do something else. And then they decided, you know what, we're getting a little too big. We need to converge it all into one. And like you said, I think up until that point, the cover of Crisis with Superman holding Supergirl, I really think that was probably one of the first times people realized, oh my God, this is something serious.
Well, as you guys know, I am actually a little bit less than halfway through this book. I started reading it, and somebody told me that, you better be prepared to cry, and I was like, well, I definitely am prepared for this book. And I pretty much on the first, I think I was 5 pages in and I was already ready to cry. I was like, oh my gosh.
Does anything happen that's 5 pages in that makes you cry? I don't know. What happened in the first part? Does anything?
I don't remember. First 5 pages. I know
it was a little bit more in. It was a little bit more in.
There's some Earth stuff.
Yeah.
That's all. By the way, your copy of that is in remarkably good shape, man. Mine looks like a dog chewed on it. Yeah.
Yeah. He got mad at me because I left it sitting out. He's like, oh no, this has to be. I said, I'm reading it. He's like, it has to be put on the shelf.
Yeah, hold
So
on.
that's
Give me
why
one
it's in good
second.
Mine's
condition.
horrible.
But I love. Yeah. So I'm making my way through it not as we speak, but.
Oh, you know what might happen in the first 5? Flash might appear in Batman's timeline at that point, where he's starting to die and he's like begging for help, and I don't want to ruin any more for it if you haven't read that.
No, don't tell me. No.
Where are they?
It's not that part.
Yeah, forget I said that.
I'm a little bit
that
further.
doesn't
I'm
happen.
a little bit less than half. Yeah. That doesn't. No.
Flash just gets an ice cream cone and he's all good.
Good, because I like him.
I don't want to ruin this. I'll give you misinformation so I don't ruin it.
All right. Sorry about that, but I had to go because Jules has her big trade paperback. So I had to go and pull out all the individuals of the Crisis of Infinite Earths, all 12 issues.
Very good.
Beautiful.
I didn't get any of my stuff out at all. I didn't get my graphic novels out. I didn't get Blackest Night out.
That's
Bailey the
perfectly
Blackest
fine.
Night, none of that stuff.
But I mean, here we go.
I was moving washers and dryers all day, man.
There it is.
There it
the
is.
Cover.
Yep.
I mean, you
That's
take
awesome.
a look at that cover, and you just know that this is serious. The other, I mean, when you start off with the other covers, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, oh, they're flying, they're thrown out in space, and you know, oh, there's a dark, shadowy guy, and we're fighting him, and all that other stuff. It's not until you actually get to this book, to book 7, when it really starts, you really start noticing, hey, this is serious. And you know, this is the death of Kara Zor-El, the death of the original Supergirl. And then we started getting in with like Matrix, Power Girl, Carol Danvers, Linda Danvers.
You said the name right. I was thinking, that's Miss Marvel, man.
Linda Danvers. You see, yeah, let me explain what it is. It's
Correction.
because everybody on Twitter is all about, oh, Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel. Can people...
I like Captain Marvel. I don't read that series, though.
The costume is cool.
I'm not a fan.
The old costume.
Yeah, the old costume was fine. I'm not a fan of the new...
The lightning bolt, unitard.
Yeah, that's still good. But you get the death of Barry Allen.
I
And
like the helmet.
the Captain Marvel
The
helmet?
new one?
Yeah. I don't read it, though.
I don't read it either.
Either.
Everybody tells me...
I don't think any of us do.
Everybody's like, oh, but if you started
Isn't
this...
it?
Everybody's like, if you started this issue,
Issue
you'll absolutely
9.
love it. I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Everybody's saying
not
issue
cool
9,
to
I guess.
not read it.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna be not cool because I don't
I'm
read
gonna
it.
be not cool. I don't
I'm
give
not totally against. I might read it one day. It just hasn't grabbed me to get it.
No. Yeah, you know.
I mean, why would I want to read that when I could read Emily and the Strangers? I mean, come on.
Right.
You gotta pick and choose. This was a funny series, though. I have to give it up.
I like Red She-Hulk better anyway.
Oh, I was going to pick that up. I looked at the cover. The cover's so beautiful. I was like, I need this. And then I put it back. Oh, I'm kicking myself, right? It was good, huh?
I actually haven't even read this one yet, but all of this series has been good so far, yeah. All the Route
Yeah.
616 ones.
Yes, Jules, it
Those
was
are
good.
really good.
It was good, huh?
Oh, hi, Jules.
Oh, hi, Jules.
I
But Chief,
was thinking of,
I think
look
we
at my
talked-
shirt. I forgot.
Oh, are you wearing your shirt?
Wait, it's opposite. Can you see it?
It's kind of dark.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, the Jules panel to panel Hawkeye shirt. Look at that.
That's awesome. I thought you did take a picture of that before. I thought I saw that before. Maybe, I bet Amy posted it, maybe.
Yeah,
I
Mrs.
saw it
Dash.
from her.
I took a picture of something.
Mrs. Dash.
I was so excited. I got my panel to panel shirt in the mail with my name on it.
But
Yeah, I have mine. Mine's actually clean. I should have worn it.
what was it? Barry Allen, he was dead for what, 23 years or how long until Final Crisis?
So 23 years until he came back.
And Final Crisis was right before, I want to say, it was before, right before Blackest Night came out. It was like,
I thought Flashpoint was right before that, right?
No, Flashpoint was after Blackest Night.
Yeah. Flashpoint was like the last event of the old DC.
Oh, okay. Right before the new 52. Okay. I gotcha.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
Man, too many big events in a row.
I mean, well, you think about it. You had Crisis of Infinite Earths, which melded the DC continuity into one universe, and then not too long after that, because the comic book code started lessening their restrictions on everybody, they could do more stuff. Immediately afterwards. These are them. Yes, these are them. We get another. It's not a big event, but I think it was an event that did change things within DC. Was the death of Jason Todd?
Well, yeah, that was a big fan thing. People were voting on it, whether to kill him or not.
People hated him.
Yeah, everybody voted unanimously.
And now you have to admit, Red Hood is fantastic. Red Hood's one of my favorite books. I love Red Hood.
I didn't really mind the Jason Todd Robin myself.
I didn't either.
I would have never voted to kill him. I don't think.
Especially because you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was like a toll line.
Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, I'm not voting for that. I'll write it in. I'll buy a stamp.
Send a postcard.
Yeah, I got a postcard.
Just a big,
Dear DC.
just a big stamp on the back.
Kill that mother.
Dead. Hey, is Jason all right? He dead. He dead. You can just hear Cleveland from the Cleveland Show. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He dead. But that was a turning point, I think, because you started getting a much darker Batman after Jason was killed. You started getting a Batman that just started beating people senseless.
It's coming back around too, since the
Kinda like now.
Damian Wayne.
Yeah, kind of like now.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't
History
know.
repeating.
Out of control.
Did you read Batman: The Dark Knight, the finale for the Mad Hatter saga? It came out last week.
You know what?
I haven't read it yet.
Probably
I still have to read it.
I probably haven't read
In
it.
my stack.
You want to talk about Batman flying off the handle? That is the issue. I won't ruin it. You have to go read it. But Batman flying off the handle, that issue is fantastic. I can't say enough about it.
21? Is that the one you're talking about?
That one.
Yeah, no, I haven't read it yet. So I'll put it on top.
Put it on top. You got to read it. It is fantastic. Because you know what happened at the end of number 20. The Mad Hatter throws his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I can say this has been a while. If you haven't read it, boo-hoo on you. Mad Hatter throws his girlfriend out of a helicopter and she smashes into the bat signal. And she dies.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
So Batman is in the wake of Damian dying. And now his girlfriend gets killed. Do the math. Do the math. What happens to the Mad Hatter? My favorite Batman villain of all time, the Mad Hatter. But so the death of Jason Todd changed things around for the Batman mythos. And then in the 90s, you had probably the biggest thing that happened in DC for a while, the death of Superman.
Well, yeah.
You think Superman...
With the resurrection of, the 5 Supermen that came out. Steel came out of that, though. There was some heroes that came out of that are still around.
I mean, you think Superman...
do a movie out of that.
Shaq got a movie.
Shaq got to do a movie, and if I don't remember, he didn't rap like he did in Kazam, though, but...
Cause I am Kazam. I'm more than I seem. You all are looking at your dream. In your coffee, I'm the queen. One wish I get it.
Still. I am Kazam.
Oh, man, it would have been even better. Steel starts rapping.
I loved it. He had like the half
sledgehammer,
like the half hammer. He had the big hammer, but it turned into like a bazooka or something. And then
I saw it was on cable the other day. I didn't watch it.
But Superman being around since 1938, and then he just gets killed. And we've talked about this as well. We've griped about this as well. I want to say it's in a lost episode. That was a Superman we loved seeing because it was a Superman that did not have to hold back his powers against Doomsday.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what. And we talked about that one episode of Justice League where he's fighting Darkseid in that one.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, I got to hold back with everybody else I ever come in contact with. And I don't have to hold back with you, and just starts wailing on them.
To preface this, Chris, when Superman Unchained came out, there was a lot of talk about people not liking Superman Unchained. On two fronts. One, they said they hated Jim Lee's artwork, and two, they didn't like a darker Superman.
I thought it was good. I
love a darker Superman.
Hell yeah, I love a darker anything.
Which
I do too. I like it when they take heroes and just make them do something nutty. I love that kind of stuff. I love dark Batman. I can't hardly stand you got to appreciate old Batman, but that old kooky 1960s Batman, come on, some of that stuff's so corny. It's like, I appreciate it for what it is, but come on, give me the Dark Knight Returns over that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but admit it, you wanted him to do the Bat-2C in the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, I did. I want to see that all the time.
You were hoping the scene where he's where him and Selena Kyle are dancing, they just broke out the Bat-2C.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, tonight, he doesn't have shark repellent.
No.
No bat shark repellent. Nothing was labeled. He didn't have anything labeled.
I mean,
the 60s Batman had a label maker, man, and he liked to use it.
Yeah.
He put it on everything.
It looked nice, too.
I mean, come on. You walk right through the Batcave. You walk through a modern-day Batcave. You don't know where anything is. You walk through Adam West's Batcave. This is the Bat Radar. This is the Bat DNA sampler.
He was organized.
He had a label.
Hey, villains, this is exactly what you want right here. Any villains that happen upon the Batcave?
Oh, look, there's a pole. I wonder where this bat pole leads to.
To Wayne Manor. Sign to the library of Wayne Manor. Huge long-running arcs through DC.
Exactly.
The Red October's back.
Oh, the Red October's back?
Yeah, I don't know.
And like if you switch through, Death of the Family. Right now, the DC events have been good. Like one of my favorite ones is the Throne of Atlantis that came out the other just a couple. That was earlier this year, which ran through the Justice League and the Aquaman books. And I will put this out there: Aquaman has never been better than he is right now. Aquaman is just fantastic. Jeff Johns writing it. It is fantastic. And we went from the Throne of Atlantis, where his brother floods Gotham City. Atlantis is attacking the mainlanders, and Aquaman has to basically take back the throne of Atlantis. And now we're getting the Death of the King storyline in Aquaman. Fantastic Aquaman. If you don't read Aquaman, go get it. He doesn't just, it's not just this, boop, 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 and he's calling a seahorse for him to ride on anymore. Okay. This is a cooler Aquaman.
That was pretty cool, though, man.
Yeah, I like that.
I wish I could do that.
Hi-ho, Seabiscuit, away!
There's no sea life around me, man. I could call, like, catfish to the shore. I could, like, go to the river. Go to Lake Michigan in Chicago and just maybe have, like, a gar or something come out.
An eel.
I'll go to the Chesapeake Bay. We're
like an alligator gar, or whatever else, or like a northern pike. I could call upon the Northern Pike with my aqua powers.
No.
I don't think there's any sea access to Lake Michigan.
But what about like Black? Let's talk about Blackest Night, because that was a pretty big game changer with the introduction of the Black Lanterns. Correct? That was when we first started seeing the Black Lanterns.
Yeah, and it was one of the darkest things DC's done in a while. I mean, besides like the 80s Batman and stuff like that. This is a really dark thing, man. People's dead relatives coming back, trying to eat their hearts, and that was some crazy stuff.
Pretty messed up.
For DC.
I did. I really loved the Flash and Hal Jordan team up.
Somebody's cooking tea. Somebody's tea. I just heard a big whistle. It was like somebody, like a tea kettle. Jules, you got a tea kettle going?
Yep.
Quiet that tea kettle.
You know, if it's noise, it's coming from my place.
I can't tell. I just hear like a pinging sometimes, like a submarine's trying to
You got the machine that goes
ping my house.
The machine that goes.
Ah, I see you have the machine that goes bing.
Maybe it's my TARDIS. I don't know.
Maybe. Landing.
I don't think
The doctor's coming for you. He's outside.
Yeah, but which doctor is coming for Jules?
See you
Which
later.
doctor? She's going to get John Hurt doctor.
Oh, you know which doctor. No, I don't want John Hurt. I don't want John Hurt.
It'd be a bummer, wouldn't it? All the doctors that shows up, it's John Hurt.
And then an alien bursts through his chest. It's like, whoa. And then he can sell you a wand so you can go to Hogwarts.
I think John Hurt's a good actor. I think that new season's going to be good.
Yeah, but
This is how we roll. We just go this way and that way. We love
Yeah,
it.
just kind of, then Spin cuts it all up and then
Yeah, then I slice
That's
it,
how it works.
and it goes out to the masses.
Like
slice somehow it comes
Wolverine.
together.
And then we all look like professionals.
Slice. Spin makes it look good after we get done screwing around.
I make this thing look good.
yeah, I don't look like this. I look a lot better when it's all done.
And you know, at that point,
Spin manipulates our video.
you do know you just said that I'm probably going to put a picture of the Joker over your face or something like that. I'm put Two-Face or Killer Croc or something over your picture.
Felt like a 70s Lou Ferrigno for me. Like with his shirt off, like flexing.
Great, and I'm a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, so I'm gonna have Urkel over here. I'm gonna have Urkel because I would love Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't know who I would have.
But definitely Blackest Night. I mean, like you said, you've got all the dead just coming back and just. And Chris, you're a huge Green Lantern fan. I know you're all about the Green Lantern.
Oh, I'm a huge Green Lantern. In fact, Blackest Night is what made me a Green Lantern fan. After I read that, I started going back and reading like everything Jeff Johns did all the way back to his first Green Lantern stuff. I mean, it's amazing. I used to hate Green Lantern before. I thought it was kind of boring. But Blackest Night was huge, and his team up with the Flash was really awesome. And just seeing all these dead characters just coming back, just swarming the living, and you had to have the like combined might of all these different cores coming together. That's also what really sold me on it too. That was my introduction to like all these different cores, and I'm like, man, like this is actually a lot cooler than it used to be. I mean, you got all these different orange lanterns and blue lanterns coming in, and man, it was just huge for me reading that. If it wasn't for that, I really probably wouldn't even be reading comics like I do.
Yeah, I agree. I think it made. I was always a Green Lantern fan, but I think Blackest Night made me way more of a Green Lantern fan than I'd ever been. Like I'd start getting it like regularly. Yeah, it was I love the different. My favorite part ever is when St. Walker comes for Flash, and he's like, it's like welcome to the Blue Lantern Corps, and it's like all will be well, and he's like that picture of Blue Lantern Flash just running that spread page. That's my favorite part of that story.
Definitely.
And like you said, you got the for a lot of people, I think that was one of their first introductions into the emotional spectrum, the rest of the emotional spectrum of the Lantern Corps.
Yeah, Jeff Johns created all that stuff, all the different.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean, he
spectrum.
really he made the mythology huge, and that's one thing I'm a sucker for is mythology. And I mean, all the stuff that he introduced, man, it's huge. It's huge. That's why I was like, before it was Green Lantern. I mean, he had some other Earth Lanterns. They did some other stuff. He was Parallax. He died. It's cool, but like, man, just that huge mythology. He built a whole new universe for the Green Lantern. And it was amazing.
Yeah, and Threshold, too, spins off of that, which is like a rogue Green Lantern that doesn't want anything to do with the Corps or anything. And he's like even in an uncharted part of the galaxy. It's almost like a whole new galaxy of stuff is spun out of Green Lantern 2 that's just going off on its own.
And then, of course, now,
Threshold is good, too, man.
Now with him, he created Simon Baz at the start of the New 52 for the new Green Lantern, who is also now with the JLA. And then,
which I'm loving in the JLA. I think he's awesome in JLA.
I think he's pretty good. And then, you know, like I said, Green Lantern, it's kind of like when you look at some of these story arcs, like Hell on Earth was one that ran through the Supergirl, the Superboy, and the Superman titles. You had Hell on Earth, but when it comes to Green Lantern, it seems like their events are a lot longer and a lot more epic than some of the other characters, because there is, like you said, so much mythology into that. And so many other characters. I mean, when we talk about death of the family, who do you pull in? You pull in Batman, Nightwing, Tim Drake. You know, you'll pull the Teen Titans in a little bit, Catwoman. But with the Lanterns, you've got so many different characters out there.
Hundreds. And imagine like all these different armies coming together.
I mean, you got the Green
and hundreds dead too that they can bring back at any time.
And to see the Red Lanterns, you know, come into play with that as well, and actually work together with the other Lanterns for a change is spectacular. And I'll tell you this, I've always liked Green Lantern, but when the New 52 came out, I wasn't picking up Green Lantern books all the time. I wasn't picking it up regularly until Wrath of the First Lantern. And now I own every Green Lantern book that has come out since the New 52 because I had to go get them all. But I loved Wrath of the First Lantern, how it was like every week you'd get a different book in the series, and then you kind of piece it together. You piece all the books together to see where all the timelines are, because for me it wasn't like linear with what the First Lantern was doing.
The only thing that bugged me is they put the conclusion out when there were still 2 issues to go. I was like, what was up with that? It was still cool. I love that story, but it's a conclusion, and we still didn't know where Atrocitus was. We didn't know any of what happened there. That was kind of confusing.
And then
I'm sure that was like a scheduling thing, but it was still good. If you read it in the right order, it's good.
Yeah, and then Jeff Johns giving us issue 20 of Green Lantern and just blowing, I think, anything else out of the water. To me, that is one of the best conclusions ever. And we've talked about that when we, a couple weeks ago on Panel to Panel, that was, I think, all 3 of our pick of the week when we were doing the picks. All 3 of us picked Wrath of the First Lantern.
I think we probably did 45 minutes just on that one book.
Just on that one book.
How good it was.
I mean, the Return of Hal Jordan.
It was a big book, though.
The Return of Hal Jordan, the First Lantern, is a huge thing.
Oh, man. That page that says Necron Rise, too, when he brings Necron back. It's like Hal Jordan's just floating there and Necron's coming up behind him.
It's like,
oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's like he wanted to cheer a comic book. He's like, oh, this is the best book I ever read.
I did. When you want to, I did.
Yeah.
I think we did, too.
There was probably a little of that going on.
I mean, I loved it to the point I had gotten the regular cover, and then I had to go out and I bought the sketch variant. So I have two different two different covers of that book because I love it so much. I had to have the sketch variant of it because it was just so cool. But Jeff Johns, you got to think after a decade run of Green Lantern, how he ended his run of Green Lantern. That was a perfect ending because you got to think with Hal and Sinestro, he ended a long-term feud between the two with a simple phrase of, "That's the funny thing, how we've always been friends." Sinestro saying that him and Hal have always been
40
friends.
years, man. Going back to Super Friends.
Meanwhile,
Old school rivalry, man.
Justice.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom and Sinestro.
Did that computer ever look like it did anything, man? It just looked like it just had big red and yellow lights on it. There was like no keyboard, just a screen. The trouble alert.
There was only one reason that computer existed. It was so somebody had the gall to say, "Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice."
They would show Robin like standing there like he's doing something. I was like, "What are you doing? Those are all lights. There's no buttons on there."
What
are you touching, Robin?
You want that?
Maybe one big knob.
That's why.
You want
one
that
big
Batman
pull switch like a
Batman
Frankenstein lever.
You want that Batman meme of Batman backslapping Robin? It's like, Batman, I'm working on the Justice League computer. There's no buttons on that computer.
Yeah. you should make one. You should make that.
I'm going to make that. That is on my to-do list now. And only those who remember Super Friends are going to get that joke. It's like only us who
It
remember.
looks like a prop from a 50s sci-fi movie. That doesn't do anything.
It's like only us who remember Super Friends remember Gleek. Only us who watch Superman's Friends remember Gleek.
I hated that thing, man. I hated everything about the Wonder Twins back then. I was like, this is a joke. Why is Superman not pounding on something or Batman solving a crime?
What kind of superpower is it where you turn into a bucket of water?
Yeah, what kind of worthless power is that? So he can maybe crack a rock in half in a million years. He can wedge in the cracks.
But his sister can turn into like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And
she never did though. It was always an eagle.
Yeah, ship of it. That way she could carry his bucket in her talons.
Well, she's an alien. She would have alien animals to choose from. Pick something with arms.
Space
that
shark.
could punch something. That's an eagle, like a bucket of water. Two most useless things you could possibly be, and a monkey. What are you fighting? Turn into some snow.
Didn't you always want to see? I don't know about you. I always wanted to see the Wonder Twins get in a fight with the kids from Space Ghost. Space Ghost's little group of kids he had running around.
They're like the same team almost. Like they had a monkey too.
Yeah, but
their monkey had a jetpack though. At least.
Yeah, but Space Ghost was cooler. You got to give it that.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I mean,
they could turn invisible. They could do useful things on Space Ghost. They could turn invisible. They had lasers. Their monkey had a jetpack.
And hey,
the Wonder Twins could turn into water and a bird, and they had a monkey that did nothing but get in trouble and cause problems.
And I don't see the Wonder Twins getting their own late night talk show on Adult Swim.
There you go. Enough said.
That's right.
Enough said. And I think he had Chuck Norris on there one time.
Probably.
Chuck Norris.
Speaking of which, I love that Chuck Norris thing on the nostalgia.
We talk a lot about the nostalgia.
The operatic.
He is awesome.
Chuck Norris.
He is fantastic. The nostalgia critic. Oh,
that's funny.
I gotta see. He might be an anime that anime thing. So maybe. But where were we?
We're somewhere in.
Hi, Mark.
Somewhere around.
Super Friends.
Super
Friends.
We went into that from.
Chief
talking about Black. Now we're talking about Green Lantern.
Oh yeah,
Green Lantern 20 is what we were talking about.
Green Lantern 20.
we got way off.
We got way off track. Man.
Chuck Norris was the last thing we were talking about. Speaking of which, I looked him up and he's like 80 years old. He's like really old, but he looks really great.
Yeah, he is old.
He could still kick you through 3 freaking buildings in a row, though.
Yeah.
They just paint him to look young, man. They dye his hair and they cake on makeup and all the wrinkles and cracks.
Because remember, when Chuck Norris does push-ups, when Chuck Norris does push-ups, he's not pushing up; he's pushing the world down. Oh yeah.
I bet Chuck Norris can't fight at all anymore. I would challenge him in public. At 80 years old, it can't hurt anymore.
I triple dog dare you to challenge Chuck Norris to a fight.
It can't hurt anymore. The's no way. There's no way he's got any power in those old,
then we're gonna have
old wrinkly legs.
But then, see, if you challenge Chuck Norris to a fight, then we're gonna have a real life edition of Funeral for a Friend.
His brittle old bones will just crack when he tries to kick my youthful, solid flesh.
Round 1. Fight!
I seriously do not want to fight Chuck Norris. Just in case he could beat me up, for one thing. I don't want to look bad. And number 2, if I win, I'm beating up an old man, so there's really no winning for me in that.
I'm still calling you out, though, Carson Daly.
Yeah, Spin's got it in for Carson Daly.
You ruined MTV, Carson
And for no
Daly.
reason.
No, he ruined MTV.
It's the weirdest thing, too, because Carson Daly's been, relegated to, 1 in the morning somewhere, on NBC, and nobody even watches it.
He has not yet owned
Spin
up
still
for
holds
Total...
the vendetta.
He has not owned up for Total Request Live, and he has not owned up for ruining Tara Reid. He owes the American people an apology. An apology.
At least they used to show music back then. I mean, shit, they don't even show music anymore.
Yeah. Not even Beavis and Butthead. What happened to Beavis and Butthead?
Oh, man, it was here and gone.
I don't know.
Man, it's 6 episodes.
What? How many Teen Moms do we have now? How many Teen Moms do we have?
Too many.
5 or 6.
Wasn't it back in the day? Back in the day, it was, we don't want our children to get pregnant at a young age, and now it's like, if you get pregnant, you can have an MTV TV show.
Yeah.
I know.
You can get employment out of it.
You're tatting me up a lot, MTV.
You're a millionaire.
Hey, remember though, MTV at one point did have the Max.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Spider-Man and Aeon Flux.
Liquid Television. That was
a fantastic series. The Max was a fantastic. If you're a younger viewer and you don't know who the Max is, go out, Google it, and buy comics. Because the Max comics were fantastic. Came around at the same time.
I don't even.
Syphil and Ollie.
I remember Syphil and Ollie.
Was that on? Were they on Liquid Television? Was that one of the things on there, or was it their own kind of thing?
I think so.
That sounds familiar, but I don't remember a lot about it.
I think so.
Neither do I, really.
I remember that.
There were a couple of puppets. They were pretty funny, but I don't really remember a whole lot. And they used to do mushrooms, and then the mushroom would show up, and it was pretty funny.
I vaguely remember seeing that.
The track was over there, and we're all the way over here, so
Green Lantern 20. Green Lantern 20.
Yeah, that's where we were.
That's where we
were at Green Lantern 20.
We were at.
We ended up at puppet shows.
We ended up talking about puppets and Muppets.
Chuck Norris, MTV, Teen Mom,
Carson Daly,
Teen Mom, Carson Daly. Me fighting Chuck Norris.
bloopers.
I still do love you, Felicia.
I think we should just leave it intact.
I still love you, Felicia Day. Wildcats.
That's Jim Lee's, right?
Yeah.
That's Jim Lee's book. I doubt he owns it.
But so many fantastic things are happening in the DC universe. It's just fantastic. Now, the one thing I do notice, Chris, you can attest to this, the Green Lanterns are kind of dealing with their own stuff right now. The Lantern Corps are not involved in anything that's really going on Earth.
No, yeah, they're
The
not.
new recruits,
Yeah.
they're kind of broken right now.
Well, they're broken.
Yeah, they're dealing with that. They're dealing with Larfleeze, coming to Oa.
Oh yeah,
Which was fantastic.
that was great. He just showed up.
Yeah,
just Larfleeze shows up.
I
And we
kind
got
of
a
felt
new-
bad for Hal because they didn't get like a moment's rest. Like as soon as Wrath of the First Lantern was over, they're like trying to rebuild Oa and they get attacked and now Larfleeze
Well, they
shows
just
up.
fought the
It's like,
Third Army.
Yeah.
Larfleeze shows
Like,
up. Guy Gardner is now
just
over with the
chill.
Reds. Gardner is now with the Reds.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And
He's
now,
taking it over. He's like, man, he made Atrocitus look like a punk.
now my question though is this. My question on that one, because remember Hal Jordan had asked Gardner to go infiltrate the Reds. And then,
Yep.
of course, we get that whole thing about Gardner being second best. He's always second to Hal Jordan. He was the backup Lantern. But my question is, was he really thinking that, or is DC playing us and he is just a spy over in the Reds for Hal? And I'm wondering how that's going to play out. But yeah, just ripping Atrocitus's ring right off his finger.
Yeah. For real. He just fell to the dark side. Honestly, I think they're going to keep him over there as long as it's selling books and it's cool. And then, like, when it's convenient and they need him to come back to the Green Lantern book, maybe when, like, the Red Lantern book's not as popular anymore or whatever, then all of a sudden, back with the Green Lanterns and he's purged now and he's safe.
That's exactly what I think too. I think it's just they're going to use it as long as it works.
Well,
When it doesn't work,
exactly.
they'll change it.
Yeah, and we just got a new Star Sapphire in the Green Lantern 21
Yep.
or 22. We got a new Star Sapphire. So see how that
I
plays
haven't got to that
out.
one yet. I might not have even read that one yet.
Did I just spoil it?
I didn't read
Spoilers!
22.
Yeah,
I
that
read
was pretty
21.
crazy. That was pretty crazy.
No,
read
it's cool
21.
because I have it. I'll
And
read
then
it.
In fact,
whatever.
I was
I'm way
mad how
behind.
that happened, man. I was mad that dude fell for that. I
Yeah.
don't want to spoil it, but like it made me mad how he fell
Yeah.
for that. Like, come on, dude. Like, man, she said like, don't fall for a smile. Like, oh man. Like dudes like that I know in real life, like I punch them. Like I'm like, I don't like that.
What else? What else? Oh, and then the
All she did
self-titled.
was smile at you, man. Save your paycheck.
Your page.
Buy her a car? What's wrong with you?
And then we're getting the
Lease a car for this girl?
Hey, I'll lease a car.
Under your own name.
But I want a DNA. But before I buy anything, I
20%
always get a
interest.
paternity test. Before I do anything, it's always got to be a paternity test.
Even if there's no baby involved, you just
Even
gonna
if
check.
there's no baby involved, I want a paternity test. I bet it's about 99.9% sure.
I want to know who your parents are.
Yeah. First episode of Maury ever. No baby.
If I did that, I'd be dancing like this.
Paternity test.
She ain't my baby. You are not the father. Oh yeah.
I'd tear Maury's set apart. Throwing the chair through the back.
You told Mark,
Especially on one of
Right.
those ones where you were like the 10th dude tested. Imagine if you were like the 10th guy tested, like, and it was you. Like, oh my god, dude, I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad. Like, hey, really?
9 out of 10.
And it would also be gross. It would also be gross to get there and be like, I'm 10?
Yeah.
I'm numbered. There's
Even if
10
you're not
guys?
under-
10? What number are
10
you?
guys in the same time period?
Want to switch numbers? This can't
Well,
be
it must have
right.
been Darius then. I don't know. or the ones where it's like, I think it's Darius, but he's been dead for 2 years now. On a brother or something. Crazy stuff.
But wouldn't you also?
That's all Maury is anyway. He used to have other stuff. He used to
I
take
know,
like
and then-
crippled kids to Disney World. And now it's just all,
Wouldn't you look at it though?
You're right.
it's all paternity.
Wouldn't you look at it
It's
also?
my favorite game show.
Wouldn't you also look at it though and be like, oh yeah, number 10 is the one that made it happen. That's right. You all ain't nothing. You're not a man like me.
Nah, that's grasping at straws, man. That's desperate. That's desperately trying to make a bad situation good.
You all are firing BBs. I'm firing an M1908 medium towed howitzer, man. 155 medium towed.
And if I'm 9, I'm going, hey man, whatever makes you feel better, dude.
I wanted to open up at one point. I just wanted to open up at one point, and Maury to read it, and it says, "Maury, you are the father."
Maury got her pregnant. Connie Chung comes out screaming. Chicken chairs over.
Is Connie Chung still alive?
I think so.
Yeah, she's married to Maury.
I know, but I haven't seen
Maury's
she hasn't
wife.
done anything since like '93. She hasn't done anything in
they were
forever.
married.
Well, she did that weird singing to Maury on TV, and then she just kind of disappeared.
Oh,
You ever see that clip of her like singing on a piano? It's pretty funny.
Wouldn't you disappear if you had to sing to Maury?
Yeah.
No, the show
I
you
think
want
he
to
was
go on.
like playing the piano too.
The show you want to go on is Montel. You got to go on Montel Williams. That's the show right there. Or Steve
Psychic, still
Wilco.
get psychic.
Or Steve Wilco. Steve Wilco.
She's wrong.
He has an infomercial right now, and she's in it. She's in it. Dude.
Oh,
She sounds like a fraud. Like, she sounds like she smokes like 5
I tell you, bro.
really bad. Yeah.
Your son is dead, but not really.
Man, yeah. She's crazy. I can't believe he's still hanging out with her, though.
I gave him a bad name after that. When she was wrong on that kid.
I've been mad since, like, I think it was like 96 or 95, and she predicted the Knicks would win the finals, and they didn't. That pissed me off. I was like, nah, never again. I'm not going to fall for that again.
Enough of this psychic nonsense.
F her, man. F her. I was mad. I think they even made it to the finals that year, too. They even made it there, and I was like, oh, my God, what? Because I love the Knicks. They're my favorite team, and I'm like, all excited. She said they would win, and then they didn't. And I was like, oh, man, come on. Never again.
She probably got hate mail like crazy for that, too.
Yeah.
Sports
the fans are crazy.
They probably went after her with, like, torches.
She should have seen it coming.
No.
Gamblers are the most suspicious, like superstitious people ever. People betting on that, and she's wrong.
Yeah, big time.
She probably had people coming after her. She probably had to hide for a while.
A year, if not more.
Maybe she should have had the almanac from Back to the Future. That would have told you who would have won. Still waiting on the Cubs to win the pennant. Have the Cubs won the pennant yet? According to Back to the Future, the Cubs can win the pennant.
No way. Good luck.
Where's Jaws? Where's Jaws 14?
I think people still believe her.
They do.
They do. A lot of people do.
They must.
The
worst part.
She has a following.
The worst part was this infomercial was for like a health shake machine. And here she is. She sounds like she smokes like 5 packs a day. Like she needs a lung transplant. She needs a vocal transplant.
It's gonna help you lose weight. I foresaw it in my head.
Yeah. It's like, Montel, these are delicious. And I'm like, oh man.
These are the best milkshakes I've ever had in my whole life. I've lost so much weight.
Hello, I'm Sylvia Brown, but I sound like Gilbert Gottfried. This is insane. I foresaw it. It was great. These shakes made me lose 40 pounds. You can't tell because the camera adds 40 pounds.
Yeah.
This is a crazy episode from all of us. I want to give a couple shout outs real quick as we are going to end this. First, I want to give a shout out to the web series Nightwing Escalation. Nightwing Escalation, putting the link down there. Fantastic web series. And they will actually be on with us in a few weeks. here on Panel to Panel, so I want to give a big shout out to Nightwing Escalation. I also want to give a shout out to another web series, Batgirl Spoiled. If you haven't heard about Batgirl Spoiled, it's got one episode right now. Episode 2 is coming out. This is Stephanie Brown, Batgirl. Takes center stage in this series. And in fact, our guest for next week, Megan Ashley. Next week, we're going to have Megan Ashley on with us. She portrays Poison Ivy in this web series. Other characters you'll see in this web series, Catwoman is in it. Harley Quinn is in it. The Riddler, the Penguin, are all in this. The Birds of Prey, Oracle, they're in it.
Sweet.
Fantastic series. So check them out. Nightwing Escalation, Batgirl Spoiled. They're fan made. No, they're not doing this for profit. They just love the characters. And honestly, it's good to see a Stephanie Brown portrayal. It's good to see a web series, any series, take on Stephanie Brown. So I want to give those. So from all of us here at Panel to Panel, Chris, big thank you for being with us tonight, hanging out with us, laughing.
Thanks, man.
You are welcome. You are welcome back anytime you want. Anytime you want, you're welcome back. Yeah. So from all of us, I'm Spin Dash.
Space Chief, now in week 3 of the Spider-Man 2 beard growing competition. Well, it's not really competition, it's just me growing a beard until Spider-Man 2 is released in 2014. So I got a long ways to go. Got about a year's worth of beard. Good night.
Angels.
And from all of us, let's see what crazy crap is at the end of this video.
It's a supersonic